Football Crazy by Colin McNaughton. Bruno was crazy about football. The trouble was, he had nobody to play with. He had just moved to the big city with his mum and dad, and he didn't have any friends. It was Sunday, and he stood at the window and watched a gang of kids playing on some waste ground. The gang called themselves Texas Tigers. Bruno thought they were terrific. He watched Tex flick the ball to Patch, and Patch nodded over to Ginger, and Ginger back-heeled up to Roberto, and Roberto headed towards the goal, where it was beautifully saved by Winston. Bruno longed to join in. "Why don't you go and play with those children?" asked his mum. "I don't know them. They wouldn't want me," said Bruno. "Nonsense," said his mum. "You're a good footballer. You run outside and ask them." Bruno was shy, but at last he plucked up his courage and he crossed the street to the waste ground. "Hey, can I come and play with you?" he called to the gang. Texas Tigers climbed the fence and looked down on him. "Play?" scowled Roberto. "We're not playing, we're training." "Saturday's the big match," Ginger explained. "We're playing Leroy's Lions. They're our deadliest rivals." "Couldn't I train with you?" begged Bruno. The gang looked at each other. "Shall we let him?" asked Winston. "Okay," said Tex. "Let's see what you can do." Bruno was hopeless. He slipped, he tripped, he fluffed and he duffed. He bumped into everyone. "It's just that I'm out of practice," he told them. "Let's put him in goal," said Winston. "He'll be out of harm's way there." Once Bruno got used to being in goal, he began to enjoy himself. After a tricky save, Winston said, "Not bad. Not bad at all." Bruno beamed with pride. When they had finished training, the Tigers made plans for the big match. Tex talked of sweepers and strikers and midfield generals. Patch and Winston discussed forwards and halfbacks and fullbacks and wingers. Ginger and Roberto argued about inside rights and offside traps, man-to-man marking and dead ball situations. "Can I be in the team?" asked Bruno timidly. The gang groaned, and Tex said kindly, "Afraid not, Bruno. It's 5-a-side and we've got 5 already." Bruno looked crestfallen. "I suppose you could be the substitute," Tex went on. "After all," he said to the others, "he's a pretty good goalkeeper, and if someone was injured he could go in the goal. And Winston, you could take the injured player's place." "It's okay by me," said Winston. "But you'll have to do a lot better than you did today," said Tex. "We can't afford any mistakes on Saturday." "Oh, thank you," cried Bruno. "Don't worry. I won't let you down." Bruno trained hard. He was determined to improve. He practiced every day after school. On Monday it was running. On Tuesday it was heading. On Wednesday it was passing. On Thursday it was dribbling. And on Friday it was scoring goals. Then it was Saturday, the day of the match. The night before, Bruno's dreams were full of football. "Oh, it's no fun being the substitute," he sighed at breakfast. "Oh, I do wish I was in the team." "Who says you won't be?" said his dad. "You never know what might happen. Football's a crazy game." "We'll be there to cheer you on, just in case you get a chance to play," said his mum. As kick-off time grew near, Texas Tigers gathered in the gang hut. "Here you are, Bruno, you can wear this," said Patch, tossing him the team's spare football strip. It looked much too big for him, but Bruno didn't mind. He was proud to wear the colours of Texas Tigers. Bruno was still dressing when Tex said, "Come on, time to go." "But I'm not ready," said Bruno. "Never mind. said Tex. "You stay here in case we need you." And the Tigers trooped out onto the pitch. A cheer went up from the crowd. Leroy's Lions were already there, warming up. Bruno finished putting on his boots and settled down to watch from the tiny gang hut window. The teams. Texas Tigers. Number 1, Winston. 2, Patch. 3, Tex. 4, Roberto. Ginger. 5. Leroy's Lions. Number 1, Jack. Number 2, Max. 3, Dixie. 4, Foxy. 5, Leroy. The referee blew his whistle. They were off. The pace was fast and furious, and the play swung from one end to the other. The Tigers scored first. Then the Lions equalised. What a goal! The Lions take the lead. Oh no, they've scored again. The Tigers are 3-1 down. Tex looks worried. So does Bruno. The Tigers pull one back. Hooray! Come on, Tigers, you can do it. Oh, hard luck. Yes, it's there. What a goal. 3 goals each. Tigers, Tigers, Tigers. Ooh. Lions, Lions, Lions. Ah. Foul. Roberto is brought down. It's a penalty to Texas Tigers. Poor Roberto was knocked out and had to be carried off. Come on, Bruno, shouted Tex. You're on. Get in goal. It was Bruno's big chance. He took a deep breath and trotted onto the pitch. Hoots of laughter greeted him. Well, he did look a little odd in his huge shorts and boots. Bruno was just thinking how unfair it was when the referee signalled for the penalty to be taken. I'll show them, said Bruno to himself. They won't laugh at me when I score a goal. And he ran the full length of the pitch and kicked the ball as hard as he could, right out of the stadium. The Lions fans went wild, laughing and cheering. The Tigers fans went wild, booing and howling. Now look what you've done, yelled Tex. Get back in goal, you've probably lost the match for us. Bruno was ashamed of himself, but there was no time to brood. The Lions mounted one attack after another. No one was laughing at Bruno now, as he pulled off a string of great saves. Here, put this on. But then Bruno made a dreadful mistake. He dived for the ball at Leroy's feet, missed it, and sent Leroy sprawling. There were only 2 minutes to go, and Bruno had given away a penalty. If Leroy scored, the Lions would win the match, and it would all be Bruno's fault. He just had to save it. Bruno felt tiny. The goal seemed huge. The crowd was silent. Tex and his Tigers turned away. They couldn't watch. They knew they were beaten. Leroy had never missed a penalty in his life. The whistle blew. Would he? Could he? Had he? Yes, he had! Bruno had saved it! A roar went up from the crowd, but Bruno wasn't finished yet. He kicked the ball high in the air, right over the head of the Lions goalkeeper, who had come out from his goal to watch the penalty, and into the back of the net. There was a stunned silence. Then the crowd went wild. The referee blew his whistle, and it was all over. Thanks to Bruno, Texas Tigers had beaten Leroy's Lions by 4 goals to 3. Good old Bruno, shouted Tex. You're a hero. Bruno, 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 chanted the crowd, and they carried him around the ground on a lap of honour. Bruno saw his mum and dad waving, and he waved back. They were so proud of him. Can I be a sub in the next match, Tex? Asked Bruno. You bet, said Tex. We couldn't do without you. And that just about made Bruno's day.